It's that little gay talk show with Joel Tatum and Charlotte Shotguns. Houston's hot mess of a podcast. A funny but thoughtful look at the LGBTQIA plus community.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to that little gay talk show. I'm your host, Joel Tatum. And Charlotte's taking a little bit of time off. She wants to spend a little time with her man.
Bye, bitch.
I know, right? So I gave her
a man?
She got a man. She got a man. He came in from Seattle.
Oh, that man.
Yeah, that man. So she wants to spend a little time. So I said, go on ahead, take a couple of episodes off.
Aww.
And spend some time with your man. And I'll have some people come in and take over. Today, it's Julio. Y'all remember Julio?
Hey, guys. What's up? How are y'all?
What's going on with you?
Not much, man. I've had a busy, interesting week in a good way. I've had an adult a lot, and I didn't like that.
Okay. When you say adult a lot, you mean you had to like pay bills and
besides that, I had to go run errands that were important. I had to just you had to
get paperwork. You had to stand in lines. You had to do all kind. Girl, I hate when you have to adult like that.
On top, yep.
On top of that, because I'm gonna have to go to the DMV here soon.
Me too. You can do that actually online. Online,
no,
believe it or not.
I have to. What I'm gonna try to do this summer is find out what, because my driver's license got suspended a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
So I need to get all the paperwork and find out how I can get all that stuff reinstated.
Yep.
Actually, it's been a little bit more than a couple of years.
FYI, you can call and or email them as well and ask for that report. You can also probably one of the easier than the DMV because the DMV will make you wait. Just to get that report, you can go to City Hall, I believe, and go to the where they pay tickets at and ask them for that report, and they can give you that report, and it'll be a lot faster.
Okay, well, I will definitely do that.
The county courthouse, I believe, is what it is.
Okay, well, I'll just go to the county courthouse. I'll call my cousin. We'll make a day. We'll get some lunch.
Okay, for real.
And we'll have a couple of cocktails.
I've been in your place before where I've had my license suspended for years because I said, fuck it. It is what it is. But
yeah, I did. I think it's been more than I think it's been like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, that's how I was.
What happened was
what happened?
I got a couple of tickets in Bel Air, but I never paid them.
Was she looking for trade and they got pulled over?
No, I think it was coming from work. I was just coming from work, and I got a couple. One said I didn't have insurance, which, by the way, I had insurance.
Oh, just didn't have it on you at that moment.
No, I had the paperwork. I didn't have the card, but I had the paperwork.
That still counts.
That still counts. But he's like,
he did not want to accept it.
He wanted to accept it.
Asshole.
So I'm like, fuck it. I'm not going to court for this. And then the second time, I had a light out in the back, which I did not know I had a light out in the back.
Sometimes they bullshit you on that just to pull you over. FYI, that's happened to me several times. And at times I'm like, can we go look together? No, there's a safety risk, and we don't want you to get. Okay, can you take a picture of it and show it to me?
Exactly.
Or can you do a video real quick?
Yeah, this is like 5 or 6 years ago. So I already checked because I was like, let me see if those tickets are still there. And,
they're there. I think 7 years is a fall off.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Well, then let me wait one more year.
In that case,
let me wait one more year. But actually,
and you should be able, if you still have your license number, your old driver's, you can look up the records online. You can try to do that at least through the government's website, the Texas local government website, and you can. Sometimes it'll show you the record, and sometimes it won't. If it doesn't show, that means that you have to go in person and ask and find out. But sometimes you can just type in your driver's license number and all your, like the last 4 of your social and a few other details.
I don't remember my driver's license number. I might have some paperwork.
Do you have an ID?
Yes, I have an ID.
I believe it's the same number. I believe.
Not for the Texas ID?
The Texas ID, the driver's license share.
Well, it might be. I think it might. Yeah, I think it might be. I'll check and see. I got plenty of time to do that.
You don't save your old licenses or anything like that?
I save. I lose my stuff all the time. And then I have to go online and get a new one.
Did you get your dignity back yet?
No, my dignity. Long gone. I lost that 20, 25, 30 years ago. Yeah.
She been gone.
We just don't have no shame anymore. We just do what we do.
I learned that the older you get, the less shame.
You know what?
Less fucks you give about what people think.
And you know what? Honestly, when I turned 50, I'm like,
and I was already there.
Wait,
I was already there at that point. Like I'm a naturally like honest person, transparent. I am who I am. You are what you see, or I am what you see. And then so like the older I'm getting, the more comfortable I'm getting. Like, bitch, I am who I am.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think I think a really good example of this is I'm sitting in the car with my two friends, and we're on this long road trip, and they're in the front seat talking, and I'm on my phone. I'm on my phone.
Like, ignoring them.
Yeah, exactly.
Clocked out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm clocked out, ignoring them, and they're just talking. And then they said something to me, and I'm like, yeah, sure. And they're like, we've been talking for almost an hour and a half, and you have not listened. Did you not listen to one word we said? I said, no. I said, no, I was on my phone the entire time. I wasn't listening to a word y'all were saying. And they were like, you didn't have to be that honest. I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and lie and try to pretend like I was here and I heard what you said.
Right.
I'm on my phone playing a game. I thought y'all were talking about any conversation y'all were having.
The same old dumb shit as usual.
Y'all were in the front seat looking at each other. Y'all didn't turn around once and say my name.
Okay, so question, is this part of getting old where, like, if you hear a conversation and you already know what the topic is, you kind of zone out?
Yeah.
Or you just dip out of mentally, you dip out, you're just until they're done talking about it?
And it happens more with younger people more than anything. Now, when I say younger people, I mean younger people in like their 20s.
Yes.
30 and over, I feel like you have more to talk about, so
yes,
a little bit more.
I'm at that point now where people will start talking about things that I already know. Unless I'm working and I'm behind the bar and you're telling me things that I already know and I have to go along with it. When I'm on my own time and I'm with my friends and they're having their conversations about random shit that I already know the answer to, I zone out.
I'll be honest, half the time, I don't even when I'm serving tables or bartending, half the time I don't even listen.
Right.
I'm just like, okay.
I get that so much.
I feel you. I understand you, girl. You do your thing. And then I'm like, I don't even know what this bitch said, but okay, that's fine.
I get that so much all the time. There are times people will say random shit to me and be just like, yeah. And had no fucking clue what they said.
And I didn't have a clue.
But based on their reaction, if my reaction was satisfactory to them and they moved along, that means that whatever they said was not that important.
And most people, most people, they know my tell when I'm not listening because of the way that I say, yeah. And I think everybody knows that I say,
it's
a
like
lot.
A checked out,
Yeah, so they know the level of my From, if I'm super happy,
and they get mad. Are you even listening?
Yeah, exactly. And then someone will be, my last friend snapping in my, are you listening, bitch?
Oh,
I know you're not listening. I'm listening to you. Really? Because snap. You went.
When people snap at me or go, hey, psst, 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 hey, bartender, I'm like, bitch. First of all, I am not Fifi or Fufu. I do not need a treat.
This was a friend, so I did. Yeah, but it was like, anybody else? Oh, anybody else? No. In fact, I will shut completely down and just walk off. If you snap at me, I'm going to look at you and just keep right on.
I had a guy snap at me the other day. Literally this was on Monday. Asked for vodka soda with lemons, but by force of habit, I forgot and I gave him limes. And then he turned around with the most condescending, disgusted tone of voice. I said I wanted lemons. Can you give me some lemons? And my bitch ass just looked at him, and I said, sure, baby. I grabbed a fuckload of lemons and just threw it on top of the limes. Didn't even give him a chance to get the limes out. His face, his whole mood changed. But I was like, it's the way you said it, player.
First of all, it's just a lemon. Come on now.
Bitch, you'd be surprised how people have
a heart attack.
Flip out over the dumbest shit.
Last summer, we all stayed at our houses.
Thank you.
Constantly stayed at our houses.
Thank you.
And you getting upset over a lemon?
Not only did he get upset, he started condescending and belittling me over the limes, telling me, "Do you not know what green and yellow is?" And the whole time, I didn't even react. This is what I did. I looked at him, I watched him, I let him finish, and I just started laughing. But it wasn't a fake laugh, it was just like a genuinely heartfelt laugh, and I just started laughing at him, and that pissed him off even more. What's so funny? I was like, you're trying to attack me. You're trying to insult me and belittle me, but it's not working. Do you realize how often I hear insults? And he just looked at me, and I was like, honestly, what you're saying is not hurting my feelings if that was your intention.
Yeah.
Oh, that lit him up even more.
Oh, good Lord!
It's not that. Sorry,
it's not that bad, people.
Okay, honestly,
it's really not that bad.
Honestly,
and I'm sorry. Did he ask you? Did he tell you? Do you not know the difference between green and yellow?
He sure did, and that's when I started cackling. I was just like, And he really thought he had me. And then he kept going. You know, bartending is not that hard. You don't need a fucking certificate or degree. And I was like, you're right. Oh, wow. This is how we're feeling today. So finally, I tell him, like, player. Like, and then at one moment, he kept going, and I finally snapped. But my snap wasn't like a yell or be aggressive. It was just like, wow, you must really feel big right now. Talking down to a bartender. Are you that insecure yourself? Are your feelings that hurt? And he just, that lit him up even when he hit to a point where he set his drink down, slammed it, walked out. And I said, bye, don't come back again.
Exactly. Because right now, I'm going to be honest, in the service industry, we're not really taking a lot.
That's true.
We're really not taking a lot. And literally, every restaurant in this town is short-staffed.
Yes.
So when you come in with attitude, please don't do that.
Please don't.
Please do not do that. Because
but you know what, though, Joel? I feel like our industry has done that to itself. They have taught and trained the customer that they're going to get their way one way or the other. That we're going to baby kiss your ass just so you can return.
Yeah, exactly.
And so therefore we excuse and or tolerate that behavior, which a lot of times that's how people think that's why people think it's okay. When in reality it's not.
I have watched managers comp an entire meal.
Me too.
Even though they sat there and ate that entire meal.
Me too.
I'm like, and then I was hungry and I needed to eat something. And I'm like, but you ate the whole thing.
I've called people out of that.
You have eaten the whole thing. I don't know what you want me to.
When I used to work at Olive Garden, that used to happen all the fucking time.
Girl, you worked at Olive Garden?
Back in the day, girl. On that slave shit, mamas. Bitch. If y'all have ever thought and or considered to work at Olive Garden, a.k.a. Darden, please don't. Save yourself some time. Don't do it.
I have been so lucky to...
They will work the fuck out of you.
I have been so lucky to avoid the Olive Gardens and the... Well, at one point, I did want to work at TGI Fridays when there wasn't...
You got lucky you didn't.
Because you know why? Because I love the fact that they used to wear suspenders and all those buttons. Because at the
flare.
Because at the time I was all about suspenders, and I'm like,
do you remember that Jennifer Aniston movie where he's like, I feel like you don't have enough flair, and she's like, I have the minimum requirement.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So yes, at one point, yes, I thought, what a career move that would be for me.
That was back in my early industry days, where in my mind, if I worked for a franchise restaurant, that meant that it was popular, people were going to go to it, and I was going to make money. Little did I know that these franchise restaurants will pimp the shit out of you for the least amount of possible. They will overwork you if they can, when they can, and however they can. Olive Garden was one of them.
And
like, try having a full section. Try having to make sure people got their fucking salad, their fucking breadsticks, on top of everything else that's going on. That's a pain in the ass.
Oh, I could.
And the wine samples. Don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started.
Can I tell you this?
What's up?
Are we really sampling wines at Olive Garden?
Bitch,
really?
Yes. Back in my days, that was still a thing. I don't know if it's now. I don't know what post COVID. I don't know what it's doing now, but
wow,
I hated that shit so bad. I would show up to the table without a bottle, and you get those. Where's my sample? Do I get a sample? Did you guys stop doing samples? The Karens that wanted the sample?
Yes. Why is it always carrots?
It's them.
Why is it always carrots?
It's them. And as soon as they pull up with that, wait, so there's no sample? I wouldn't even go through the spiel. I just say, what do you like to taste? What's your preference, white or red? Oh, but aren't you going to surprise me? I can surprise you, but I'd rather just give you what you want, and then we can move on. I thought bitch, what do you want?
Just tell me what you want, girl.
So then I would just like, literally my bothered ass would turn around and grab the first bottle I saw, and here you go, bloop, 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 bloop. There you go, mama, taste it, enjoy. Period.
I did not know Olive Garden. You know, this is how I ate at Olive Garden one time.
And they've been doing that for the longest.
One time. And actually, the last time I ate at Olive Garden, my cousin suggested it. And I'm like, why? He goes, girl, I just feel like eating at Olive Garden.
Low key, the food is good. I ain't gonna lie. I may have not like working for them, but the food was good.
I thought it was okay.
The food was not. It was really heavy though, heavy food, because there's a lot, especially like the white sauce and what's that called, the Alfredo.
Yeah, the Alfredos and all that. That's a lot of. That's some heavy shit.
And so then after Olive Garden, my next stint was P.F. Chang's. The P.F. Chang's. Ooh, girl, don't get me started on them.
I used to love P.F. Chang's.
They went from fine dining per se. They used to be really nice. You would consider them a fine dining establishment too. Now they're just as good as either Applebee's or Chili's.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not talking shit, but that's the truth.
You know, the Applebee's commercials always look so good, and then you get there and it's like, oh, why?
Yeah.
Why? But, you know, thankfully enough, those are usually when I'm on road trips or something.
Those restaurants fucked it up for restaurants like ours because they were doing those 3 for $25, 3 for $15 and shit like that. And people would come in, do you guys have anything like that? So we had a match. Our restaurant saw a decline in sales and business, so we had to match that to get the people to come out to it. Yeah,
exactly. But Applebee's and the rest, those are mostly deep in the suburbs.
Yes.
Kind of restaurant. So seeing meal offers for 3 for $15, that's to get mom, dad, and the 9 kids to come in and have dinner. And by the way,
John and K plus 8.
Yeah, exactly. Mom and dad is trying to get all the free kids meals they possibly can.
Oh my goodness.
And all this other stuff. So yeah, so I usually equate that to those kind of restaurants. And I did notice that though, the restaurants in town started adopting free kids meals and then all this other stuff because, you know, they moved into town. They had their little kids and they moved into town and suddenly they asking you, do we get a free kids meal? No.
Oh my God. We would get that all the time.
It's $3.99. You can afford $3.99.
And sometimes the moms will come in with their own food. I didn't mind that. Some servers got pissed off. I was like, no, actually makes sense. If the kid is not going to like what we serve here.
Yeah, exactly.
And the mom knows that the chicken nuggets are the go-to and he'll eat something. I'd rather the kid eat something than nothing.
You know, I never had a problem with that. I'm like, oh, thank God. That's one less person I have to take care of.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly. All they usually ask, can I get a spoon or something like that? That's fine. You can have whatever you want as long as that child is eating his own food. I don't care.
Yes. That part.
I did not care. I just was like, ooh, like I said, one less for me. I'm okay with that.
Joe, so last episode that you guys recorded at the bar, by the way, I thought that was the funniest fucking episode I've heard on your podcast. It was just hilarious because I think everybody had a few drinks. I love that you could hear the background noise.
Yes.
No bullshit. I actually enjoy. So sometimes there was shit going on in the background. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? But y'all were funny.
I listened to it and I was like, you know, I did enjoy
the atmosphere,
the background noise.
Yeah, because I was at home listening and I kind of almost felt like I was.
Yeah, you were at the bar. Yeah, you were at the bar. That's why I like when I love the fact that Buddy says us at least once a month because it's like on those Monday episodes, it's like people get to hear what it's like to be out and about at a bar.
Yes.
One, they get to meet some interesting characters.
Yes.
Which were some interesting characters.
They will pop out of nowhere.
Yeah, they will literally pop out of nowhere. And 1 minute you're having a conversation about whatever, and then suddenly somebody sat down at the mic and said, hey, my name is such and such, and let me tell you my story.
That one guy that took over for the longest, I saw that.
He took over for the first half of the show. And let me tell you something, Jesse, because I know Jesse has now become a really big listener to the show.
Hey, Jesse.
Jesse was so much fun.
Yes.
He was so much fun. There was a lot of tragedy, though. There was some tragedy in the store and what was happening. I'm not going to get into it because I don't think we talked a lot about it on the show. We talked about it beforehand. And I literally had to convince him to sit down.
Okay.
Because he was like, well, I'm going to get up because I'm going to let y'all do your thing. I'm like,
sit your ass
down. And then next thing I know, his shirt is off.
I did see that too.
He has shown me his dick.
I'm gonna start bringing a flag for you to wave just in the air when you need security.
Yeah. Oh, it was fine.
Okay.
It was fine. He was harmless. But he showed me his dick twice. I'm like,
okay.
I'm like, and everybody's like, how is it? He's only showing. I don't know why he keeps showing me his dick. By the way, nice size dick.
Okay, was it? Oh, yeah, it was. He showed you pictures of it or the pic?
No, he pulled his shorts down and literally just pulled them. He said, "Hey,
take a look.
Here's my
peekaboo."
Because I forgot to bring the consent forms, and he goes, "Well, here's my consent." And so he pulled down his shorts, and I'm like, "Okay, well, it looks like I got a lot of consent. Thank you for that."
Okay. Period. Oh my God.
But he had. I don't want to. Jesse, I know you listening, so I don't want to get into.
No, he was a sweet guy. I just thought he was
sweetest, funniest guy ever.
That first half of the show was actually hilarious. Like y'all had me cracking up at home.
Yeah, exactly. So we had a good time. I can't wait till we do it again. But yeah, we had such a good time, and I met some interesting people.
Yeah, man.
One of which I'm gonna go see tonight at the singing contest at Rebar. You know, I've never been to Rebar.
Really? Okay.
Not been. Well, you know, it's been
It's not
been
everybody's-
COVID.
yeah,
It's been all this other stuff, and now that I have my second shot, I feel more comfortable.
And it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's not for everybody. Like not everybody likes that environment.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna go see him sing.
Who is this mystery person?
Oh, this is Seiko Nance. He's in the
Because I know the host of the show, Wendy Taylor.
Wendy Taylor.
Who does our karaoke on Wednesdays at Buddy's. And I saw her flyers for. I've been meaning to check that out. Let me see, because it'll show me the pictures of everybody. There we go. I'm looking at her Facebook right now, and then she has a flyer posted with everybody's picture.
So they have a singing competition going on. I think now they're down to 12 contestants, and the grand prize is like $750. Plus, you get into a recording studio and all this other stuff. So, I mean, these people are.
You said his name is Seiko?
Seiko. Seiko Nance.
Oh, I know Nance. Nance he's one of my regulars,
Yeah.
actually. As a matter of fact, I always know him by Nance. That's how I know him. I know exactly who. I didn't know he could sing till one day I saw him singing on the stage at Buddy's karaoke night. And I was like, is that Nance? Okay.
Yeah.
I call him Nance. That's why I didn't know who his
You know
first
what?
name.
That's what I figured, because I saw on his Facebook page that a lot of people called him Nance, and I'm like, and I think on the show he explained why people didn't call him.
He taught me the pronunciation, but I shortly after forgot it. And so, but I remember his last name, because when I'm bartending, I have to look up your tab by your last name. And as you become a regular of mine, I will remember your last name first as I'm learning your first name. And then once I learn your first name, I'm like, oh, here we go. So with him, every time I see him, Nance, he drinks. This is how I know it's him. He drinks a Michelob Ultra, and he likes a Starfucker shot.
What's a Starfucker shot, by the way?
That is Crown, Peach Knobs. Oh, excuse me, Crown. Is it Crown? Watermelon pucker, and then mixed together on top of Red Bull. Well, Red Bull, and then put Red Bull on. Excuse me, pour in the cup and then put Red Bull on top. That's a Starfucker, essentially.
Okay, so basically for me, that's a heart attack.
Okay, it's a lot of sugar basically in one shot.
That's a heart attack in one shot. I don't understand why they like all this sugar.
Man, you'd be surprised. They come in trends. There's the shot system comes in. I call them.
Well, I've been bartending long enough that every time I turn around, there's a new trend.
There is.
There's always a new trend, and it's like, oh. And working in the restaurant that I work in, they always, every time there's a new trend, they're
Like,
immediately on it.
If you live in Texas right now in Houston, the popular shots that I know for a fact are cucumber shots, Starfuckers, Mexican candies, Vegas bombs. Now here's a fun fact too. One time when we went to LA, we asked for Starfucker. And the guy looked at us like we were completely stupid. He's like, what is that? The fuck is that? And I was like, Starfucker, you know a Starfucker, come on. And he's like, what is in it? Or I got to go make drinks for somebody else. And I was like, well, this, that. Well, for whatever reason, they didn't have watermelon pucker. So he used real watermelon juice.
Oh, wow.
It tasted fucking nasty. Disgusting. It wasn't even the same at all.
Well, I'm not sure that watermelon is a big.
But I noticed that's a thing. Sometimes, like in Houston, the shots might be cool here, and then you go to other cities. You go to other cities, and they're like, "What is that? I've never heard of it." And you're like, "What do you mean? What do you mean you never heard of Mexican candy?" They're like, "What the fuck is a Mexican candy?" I make them pretty good though. Mine come out good and sweet. That's the way. And I make mine with vodka, not tequila.
Well, you know, I have noticed that me and brandy or whiskey are not getting along right now.
Yeah.
So we trying to stick to vodka as much as we possibly can. Because like I could have 3 or 4 vodkas and I'm fine. I have 3 or 4 whiskeys, and next thing you know, I'm in a
He's gone. You lost him.
Uber
You lost him.
at some bar going.
I've seen you under the influence, and we've lost you.
Yeah, I'm gone.
Consider him gone.
I'm just
done
gone
for the day. Done for the night.
I'm done. Just slide me into an Uber and send me on home.
Do you remember last? When did
I know I do not.
Monday.
No, I do. I woke up going.
Do you remember I fed you?
You did, because I remember. Yes, thank you for that. By
You're
the way.
welcome.
We had too much.
You saw Orlando in the kitchen, and then you walked in the kitchen, and it was like, "Hey, How you been? And he just held the conversation with him. He just looked at you like, what are you doing in the kitchen? And you walk past the drag queen room and into the kitchen. And then I walk in, I'm like, Joel? Like I didn't expect you to see you in our kitchen. Like they just threw me off seeing you in our kitchen. So I was like, what's up? What's going on? And then you started talking. I was like, got it. You're gone. You weren't there. So then I kept talking. He was like, okay, you're hungry? Do you want something to eat? And then we just coincidentally, the guy that prepares our food and had brought extra food, and they brought barbecue that night. So they had like sausage. They had what was the other piece? It's some kind of meat, one of the meats of the barbecue. And I just looked at you. You're hungry, aren't you? And you're like, yes. All right, let me make you a plate. Let me warm it up for you, but you have to go out and sit in the bar. And you're like, okay. And then every time you said okay, you started another conversation with Orlando. And I was like, Joel, you're going to get us. And coincidentally, our owner was there tonight. So I'm like, Joel, you're going to get us in trouble. I need you to go to the bar and sit. And you did. You went, you sat, and then you waited. And then I brought you the food. Here you go, Joel. You ate it. And then I turned around and you disappeared.
Oh, I called my Uber at that time. And I went, because I realized, and I think somebody told me this. They're like, Joel, you don't get too twisted, but when you do, you get to the point where it's like, you know what? I'm super drunk. I need to call an Uber, and I'm going home.
Yes.
And that's exactly what I ate.
Thank God for Ubers, honestly. Think about it. Thank God. Imagine if that shit was not around.
Well, I would have called, I mean, you could have called, I could have called a cab.
True.
Yeah. A cab would have been just fine, but thankfully enough, I have the Uber app, but I would have had to wait a long time.
45 minutes. If you know, back in the day, you called a taxi, and that was minimum 45 minutes. They told you that. I'll be there in 45 minutes.
But, you know, also back in the day, and this was, you know, I'm about 15 years older than you. So the cabs did used to be in the neighborhood all the time. I used to be able to get a cab in about 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Like back in the early 90s.
Because they knew people were constantly
rotating. Because a lot of the waiters would take cabs to work. Or they would take cabs home
too.
Yeah, they would take cabs home when they went, because, you know, we would do the bar crawl at the work.
Yep.
Walk right. I worked off of West Gray, so we walk right across the street.
Yep.
Get a pizza. Get a pizza. Grab some cocktails.
Yeah.
And that was just during break time. Then we go back to work.
Oh my God.
Then we ended the night.
I've done that a few times.
And then we would take a cab home. And I had some incredible cab drivers back then. I mean, good Lord, I had one.
Did you mess around with any of them?
No.
Don't lie, Joel. Don't
lie. No. I had one who was 475 pounds. And don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with a big girl.
Right.
But
we love our big girls too.
We love our big girls too. But
big girls need love.
But he kept telling me how big his dick was. Every time he would take me home, and I'm like, man, I'm not interested in you.
He was wanting you to do things to him.
But he was breathing so hard most of the time, I didn't even think.
You remember Taxi Cab Confessions?
Yes.
You know, a lot of those episodes are on YouTube.
Yes.
And I will occasionally jump on that board and that rabbit hole and like watch the fuck out of it.
I didn't know Taxi Cab Confessions was still on YouTube.
Yes, bitch. They're on. You can find almost anything now.
Because I remember I used to watch them on HBO when I had HBO.
Back in the day.
Yes. And it was fun.
Oh, you had HBO back in the day?
I had,
yes. She had money.
Yes, girl, I was rolling in the cash.
She was young and successful.
I was rolling in the cash.
Let's talk about it. Okay, she was scoring 5 times a week.
Girl, I was working at West Gray Black Eyed Pea.
Okay, period.
And let me tell you something. West Gray Black Eyed Pea had all the Richies.
Yes.
Richie Riches right next door who would sit at my bar.
Tell them, mamas.
And they would sit there and they would leave me 20s, 50s.
You know, cable was not cheap back in the day. Cable was an expense. It's not like today where you're like, oh, it's $10 for Netflix and I get a plethora of shows. $10 for Hulu, $15, whatever the price is now. Bitch, back then cable was not cheap.
But I also had to have dial-up because I had a computer at the time too, so I had to have my dial-up.
Not the dial-up, girl.
Yes,
we had
my
the dial-up
AOL.
Too.
I had
Lord
my
forbid you had to make a phone call and interrupted my internet in the midst of my. Do you remember that when somebody would pick up the phone and they fucked up the connection? Like, how dare you?
Or I would get people go, girl, I tried to call you 9 times last night and you did not answer.
It was busy,
and I'm like, girl, I'm sorry, but I was in the middle of downloading this picture that I got from this Irish guy, and it takes 5 hours for it to
did. It was
which
like
at that time was like, girl, only 5 hours? That's fast.
To those standards, bitch. Yes.
Exactly. Girl, which internet provider are you using?
I remember the first time we got cable in my house. We had a party. I was the most excited kid. I was like, I can finally watch this and that and keep up with the conversations at school. Bitch. And on top of that, you had the HBO package. She was making them coins at Black Eyed
Yes,
Peas.
bitch. As soon as I got my own place and
so you was an independent woman.
I was an independent woman.
You was paying your own bills.
Paying my own bills.
You didn't need no man to take care of you.
I made sure I found the cheapest apartment I could possibly find, and made sure I had my dial up and I had my
she
cable.
Was third ward adjacent.
Exactly. No, I still lived in Montrose. Amazingly enough, let me tell y'all something about Montrose, and it's even to this day. If you really, 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 really look real hard, you can find an apartment, but you have to look real hard. You have to know some people.
That too.
You have to, I
put up with certain living conditions. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you do have to put up with certain living conditions.
If you want cheap rent.
If you want cheap rent, but you
like
want the
less than $500 rent cheap, or like we're talking like 6, 7.
Oh, honey, that's not going to happen ever again.
No, not really. To be honest, unless you're splitting the bill with somebody.
No, but back then, I think the highest I paid, maybe in the early 2000s, I think I paid $625 a month, and that was for a really nice apartment.
Yep. And that was a lot back then.
And that was a lot back.
And I've looked in that neighborhood. Now they're like minimum $900.
$900 minimum.
$800 would be the cheapest. And then you have to deal with like, okay, you have to share this, or there's a common this, that. Girl.
I found a couple of apartments downtown that were kind of cheap, but there was all kinds of stuff going on.
Right.
The gates probably weren't working, or there was way too many homeless people hanging out front. And
see, and then I work, and then if I work and I live in Montrose, game over. I wouldn't stand it.
Oh, girl, did it for years. I've done it for years, and let me tell you something. The closer you are to the bars, the more trouble you're gonna get.
Because you's a hoe. You's a hoe.
But I've never lived on top. At one point I wanted to live on top of the bars. I mean, like literally live where I could walk out the door and go,
like,
I'm going to the
like
bars.
Like 611 back in the day, had that house on top. You want to be that girl.
Or the cute little condos across the street from JR's.
Okay, yeah.
I wanted to live over there.
Yes, those are cute.
Yes, and then I'd be like, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to walk.
Speaking of Montrose, do you know what I drove by today? Montrose and Westheimer. And I finally saw that they tore down the whole shopping center.
Yes. Oh, my God.
And you could, like, the fact that I could see all the way where the old Kroger used to be. Wow, now I call it the old Kroger. It was just there last year.
It was just there.
Actually, a few months ago.
Yeah, they closed down in January. No, February.
I drove by several times today, and I looked at it, and I was just like, on my way to Legacy Clinic. That's a different story.
Okay, well, I got my shots at Legacy Clinic. I ain't got no shame, and I went to the one in Montrose.
As you should. That's why I went.
And I think I saw Wendy.
Ooh.
I think she was getting her second shot.
You're being exposed, Wendy.
I think she was getting her second shot because I saw a girl, kind of a husky girl with a buddy's cap on. And I'm like,
lower down, you can't see her eyes, and then all of a sudden Joe walks up. Hey, girl.
Well, she didn't know who I was because I'd never met her before.
Gotcha.
But I knew who she was because I'd seen her, in the advertisement and promos and this and that. And I'm like, oh, she's from Buddies. Yeah, and I saw a couple of other people from Buddies there too, and I'm like, no, not workers. I saw a couple of people that I saw at Buddies.
Okay. I was about to say, damn, there was a field trip and I didn't know about it.
I know, right?
Which occasionally does happen.
But yeah, so I was there at noon getting my Now, the first time she was there, I didn't expect her to see her the second time.
Okay.
Which was funny because we came at the same time. There she was again. I'm like, I guess we're both getting our second shot.
Okay. It was meant to be.
It was meant to be, but I was so happy to get that second shot.
Okay.
But I was down for a couple of days. I was not feeling good for a couple of days.
So you were one of those people that
I was one of those people.
Because I've met the ones that are like, oh, I didn't do shit to me. I feel good. And then I've met the ones like yourself who are like, oh, I was down. It hit me the next day. Or if it didn't hit you that day, it hit them the next day.
I was down for the entire weekend. And
we had a coworker that had to leave halfway through the shift in the middle of being busy. He's like, he looked at the manager on duty. He's like, I can't. Like, I physically can't. Like, you don't understand. There's something going on in my body right now. It's limiting me. I can't function. I have to leave. So they moved me from the slow station and put me in his station, and I took over. I was like, I got this.
So I was down, and And of course, I got a call from my friend Chris, who also got his second vaccination, but he's out and about in the Montrose.
Okay, girl.
He was having a good time, girl.
A lot of people are starting to come out.
Yes.
A lot of people that now are vaccinated. We're starting to see, we're seeing the numbers get up now. We're starting to see more traffic come through, especially on the weekends. Like, we're seeing them not only at our bar, we're seeing it at every bar. And I talked to the other industry people, and they're saying it too. Like, yeah, I'm noticing it's busier than usual.
Yeah, I know. And I've started to see more shows starting to happen. I'm starting to see more people coming out.
Yes.
And it's. I think the bar scene is really about to take off this summer.
It is. It really is.
I think summer is going to be.
We have a lot of good drag shows going on everywhere.
Every bar has a drag show. Every bar has.
And yet we're not on Rupaul's. How the fuck? Please explain.
Yeah, somebody please explain that to me too.
I don't get that.
We got
13 seasons in. If season 14 comes through and I don't see one of our girls on there, I'm gonna be so mad. This is a topic that automatically makes me angry. Just because I see the ones, and I know there's like a handful of the ones that like promote, work hard, have the freshest look all the time. They're not stale. They consistently change their game. They're consistently making new shows, going to shows, performing. I've seen some of these girls go from the not so busy shows and still kill it, and they'll go back to the next day. They're at the busy show and they're still killing it.
And let me tell you something right now. Now, I think for the longest time, and this might, I don't know if it's a fault of the older queens or what have you, but there was, for a little bit of time, a lot of queens who were not interested in doing RuPaul's Drag Race.
Why? Like, that's changed everybody's career moving forward. Just even if you got kicked out the first episode, like that changed your life.
Yeah, I think for the longest time, and we've talked about this on the show before, but there were a lot of queens who were not interested in doing RuPaul's Drag Race. So for the most part, a lot of queens did not submit applications.
And that's not the case with the new girls.
But the new girls are like, yes.
They're thirsty. They're hungry.
They're thirsty and they're hungry and they want to do this. So I think the older queens might have messed it up just a little bit for the younger queens.
Yeah, but that's still no excuse for the RuPaul people.
Yes.
There's still no excuse for the RuPaul people to not come through and check in after, maybe a year later or two.
Now,
say, hey, girl, hey.
Now that more of the shows, here's what's going to happen.
What's that?
And I think because I'm starting to see this now, more of the queens from the show.
We're refilling our cups with alcohol.
Yes, we're refilling our cups with.
So if you hear that
seltzers,
blue, blue, blue,
we're not being sponsored by, so I ain't even gonna say the name of the seltzer. But we're
one seltzer drink. How about that? It's the gay talk show seltzer.
The gay talk show seltzer.
What flavor did you get? I got the lime seltzer.
Every time somebody brings like a multi-pack of seltzers, I usually almost always end up with lime. Every time.
They put them at the top.
And it's oh my God. And I'll be like, can you hand me a seltzer? And they'll hand me the first thing they see, and it's always a lime. And I'm like, and they're like, this mango is delicious. And I'm like, mango? Why y'all keep handing me?
There was
mango? Girl, there's other flavors in here. I'm like,
did you say steak?
Y'all realize I have now drank 3 limes now. Not tonight, but on other shows. I'm like, I have drank 3 lime drinks. Y'all over here drinking all these fancy mango and papaya and all this passion fruit. And I'm drinking all the lime. I'm like, I'm sorry. Do you want me to hand you a couple of bucks? Because I want a mango.
Bitch, I have got a 12-pack for me and him, and I said, let's rock and roll. I'm learning that I can't bring you the hard liquor.
Now,
no shade or nothing. I was like, let's just keep it light.
Yeah, let's just keep it light. I'm okay with vodka. I can do tequila just fine. But bourbon, no.
And I'm a bourbon guy.
And you know what? I used to be a bourbon guy.
What the fuck happened to you?
What the fuck happened was, I don't know what happened.
Who hurt you, Joel?
But
and
like
why
I said,
did you leave us?
But you know what the funny thing is like I said, I even when I crossed that threshold with bourbon, like I said, everybody around me is like, but Joel, you used to be this wild guy we had to chase up and down the street and all this other stuff.
Ooh.
But you like to do
you still that girl.
Well, not not to the level that you know of.
Okay.
You only know a small level, but not to the level that you know of. But I either just simply pass out. I either want to talk. I'm a talker, you know.
You're a talker, and I've noticed you'll lose your train of thought.
I lose my train of thought a lot.
You'll start a sentence, you won't finish it.
I'll start.
I start laughing. I just think it's like,
yeah, because I'll just move. I will think about it, thought about it, moved on.
well, if RuPaul is listening, bitch, please pick a Houston queen. I'm sorry that the queens from the past that you reached out to were not about that life.
Oh,
but the new girls are so about that life. They're gonna blow the water out.
Well,
they're gonna blow it out the park, blow it out the water. However it's said.
Well, just to let the audience know, I did not lose my train of thought on this subject. We just went over to the other side for just a second. But the fact of the matter is that what I was about to say earlier was the fact that these queens have really. We've got a lot of the queens coming from RuPaul's Drag Race. They're really starting to see the talent here,
quality.
So
talent.
yes,
not just like, oh, she's my favorite, so therefore she should go. No, it's like they bring it. Promo, style, fashion, wigs, outfits. They're on almost every cast that they go to, every bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Not only in Houston, they perform outside of Houston all the time too.
So I think honestly. And I'm just going to, because I think I've seen this before. I think RuPaul does have an interest in Houston. I think she has all these queens coming out here to see if there's a thing happening here in Houston.
You think so?
I think we're going to see some queens on RuPaul's Drag Race.
There has been a lot of queens. Especially they're being hosted at Rebar a lot during brunches too. So
yeah,
hopefully they kind of take
the
time
so we're going to see
around.
When you notice that a few queens aren't performing
during the summertime, because
during the summertime.
I was looking online, and for season 14, if they're going to start when they start recording season 14, that should start around summer, June-ish.
Around.
So I'm gonna be paying attention to you bitches.
Yeah.
And if I see that one of y'all is missing from your regular cast and your regular shows,
and you're not doing your social media, you disappear from social
right,
media.
That's the first clue.
That's the first clue right there.
Some of these queens on there heavy. They don't even miss a day.
Because I watch all these shows on YouTube when it comes to all this stuff. And what I've learned is that the moment that they disappear from social media, that's when you know that there's something going on with RuPaul.
And what is this rumor that I keep hearing about Cher?
It's not really that much of a rumor. Cher actually said that she might have to go on RuPaul's Drag Race.
But she was a little hesitant at the same time.
She's been hesitant for a few years.
I'm like, bitch, why? We supported you. We paid for the house. We, when I say we, I mean the gay community.
Your son's already been on twice.
Period.
Come on now.
The fuck you waiting for?
Come on. What are you waiting for? But let
me call her real quick.
I think she's been holding back because one, she had a world tour going on for the longest time. She did have a world tour going on because I went to see her shows.
She ain't got shit going on now. We had a whole worldwide pandemic. After the panoramic, I don't know if you heard about it.
And I don't really think that she was really into the show a lot at first,
which I get because I know of the show. I like the show, but I don't watch the show.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that she was into the show a lot. I know that, like I said, Chaz had been on, and he probably talked to her about it a couple of times, and she's probably like, he probably won't last, blah 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 blah. And here we are now, and then she makes that statement, and I'm like, all these queens going to lose their mind. I know y'all going to have to put that episode on if it happens.
Okay. Honestly, bitch.
Because every queen in town will come rushing in going, girl, put it on RuPaul.
Real quick. And I hope that season that Cher is on, one of our girls is on.
That's what I hope,
too.
Can
you imagine? I'm so ready to see one of our girls up there.
But you know what? I'm also thinking that maybe they might put her on All Stars, though.
Who?
Cher. If she,
you think so?
She might. I want her to do the regular queens. I don't want to.
Upsetting. I'm upset. No,
I'm really thinking that she might lean towards All Stars because these queens have been doing Cher for years and blah 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 blah. So she might want to come on and
I wouldn't be surprised,
do her thing. But I would like for her to go on season 14, or if she can't do 14, 15 of the regular cycle and have these girls. Because those girls will be the envy of every drag queen.
Yes, they will.
From every other season.
And we probably won't, in one day, even if any Houston drag queens that gets featured on, even if they get kicked off the first episode, we won't see them for a few months, probably a whole year before they come back to Houston again. Because they're going to be performing everywhere. Yeah. They're going to want to be seen by people.
Exactly.
And if they're smart business people, business women / men, they're going to chase the bag.
Oh, let me tell you, and you can look this up on YouTube. I watched a video on the contract these girls have to sign. Oh, any Houston girl that goes on, you're going to be working for World of Wonder for at least 8 years.
Oh, for real?
You'll be working for World of Wonder for a long time.
Where'd you find this contract at?
Oh, it was on a YouTube video. What? By the way, it's public record, so you can just look it up online.
Oh.
Yeah, all contracts are public record, so you can just look up the contract that the girls have to sign.
What's it called? World of Wonder?
Yeah. I don't know exactly where to look it up. I just saw it on a YouTube video. I know I think the video is by a queen called Bussy. I think that's her call. Yeah, I think that's what she's called on YouTube. But she brought out the whole contract. She said she read all the pages.
Jesus.
And that's a lot of pages.
And what does it entail? What does it say?
Well, the new contract. Now, this is the new contracts. The old contracts were a little bit different. I think in the old contracts you had to work for World of Wonder for only 2 years.
I know that season 13 was a little more strict because of COVID.
Yeah, because of COVID.
And they couldn't do shit but stay inside. Like they had to remain.
But you're going to go on tour. You're going to do all the appearances. Sometimes you'll get paid. Sometimes you won't. Blah, 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 blah. But it's all about exposure.
Yeah.
And this and that. So you're going to be a working girl.
Getting your name. I mean, that's what they work towards. And that's. I feel like that kind of comes with the territory.
Now, a lot of girls don't understand this. I think seasons 1 through 3, because they were like in the early days, you don't see a lot of those queens.
You don't.
Because they didn't sign those kind of contracts back then. But I think after season 8, I think they said after season 8, that's when the contracts got a little bit more complicated.
They had to, because then it was more about money at that point, and there was more worldwide presence, and it became RuPaul became a thing at that point.
And at the same time, a lot of the queens also have to sign an NDA, which those usually are hard to prosecute in court because no one knows exactly.
You can't really prove that person said it.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you have actual evidence.
Yeah, it's their NDAs are usually so.
Man, NDAs run wild through Hollywood. And I've seen a few blogs here and there where they're like, nobody cares about NDAs. They still tell your business. Even if
exactly.
You sign.
Exactly.
It's going to be hard to prove work. Unless only one person was in that room besides yourself. They're going to know who said it.
Because I'm sure William and Carmen Carrera and Gia Gunn and these girls signed NDAs and they still talk about RuPaul. Like, and they still talk about RuPaul like she ain't nothing. Like she didn't do nothing. And and like I said, I understand with the trans issues when it comes to Carmen Carrera and Gia Gunn. I understand that. And I was a little on the fence on how I felt about trans women being drag queens on the show. And
why?
Here's my thing. And I've changed my mind since then.
Yeah.
My thing is that as far as I don't think trans women I didn't think that trans women doing drag was good for trans women.
Okay.
Because drag is female impersonation.
Correct.
And if you're a trans woman,
you're not impersonating
a woman. You are a woman. So calling yourself a drag queen, I think it doesn't really it doesn't go
hand in hand.
It doesn't go hand in hand with being trans.
Contradictory in a way.
It's contradictory in a way. So for the longest time, I did have a problem with it because I did not want trans women and drag queens to be lumped in the same category because they don't belong in the same category.
Which is true. Very true.
But I feel that if trans women really do want to do drag, that they should be allowed to do drag.
Correct, yeah.
And as long as they know, I think I watched an episode with Gia Gunn not too long ago, and she was so confused about, when she was like, well, I'm doing drag and I'm a woman and I'm really going through a lot of confusion when it comes to trying to figure out which one I am. Am I a drag queen or am I a woman?
No, you're still a trans woman.
No, you're still
when you're doing drag, you're an entertainer.
Yeah, exactly.
You're entertaining the masses, whether you're a real woman or not. Because there are some real women who do drag in general, and they go to the gay clubs and do the drag there. So
and amazingly enough, got Meg. I didn't have as a trans man. I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah,
I had no problem with it. I'm like, a trans man doing drag. That seemed perfectly okay to me for some reason. But when it comes to trans women, I'm always on the fence about that.
Because it was more about the identity for you.
Yeah, it's more about the identity.
Not blurring the lines.
Not blurring the lines.
You wanted, if you're a trans woman, you're a trans woman. And you shouldn't, and you saw that as they shouldn't have to submit themselves to be drag queens.
Yeah, exactly.
But then, like I said, it's an entertainment. It's a form of entertainment.
Yeah, it's a form of
an
entertainment.
illusion. So yes, they are real. They're a real woman, but they also want to perform. They want to be out there. They want to. And some trans women started out as drag queens.
Yeah,
before
a lot
they
of
fully transitioned over.
Gia, Carmen, Peppermint, they all started off as drag queens,
Yeah.
and then when they realized that, wait a minute, I'm actually I'm actually a woman.
Yes,
I'm not a drag queen.
Correct.
So I think that, like I said, I think when it comes to trans and drag, I had an issue with that because, like I said, I did not want trans women to be.
You know what I've
associated
speaking
with drag.
of trans culture or trans is it a culture? Is it a trans people?
Trans people.
Back in the day, I used to use the T word, which was tranny.
Oh yeah.
But as I got to know more trans people in the community, I learned that word was kind of hurtful, and also depending on how it was said too. But I went through a phase where I had not even a phase. I went through a moment, and it's a continuing thing for me where I teach myself. I had to retrain my vocabulary to not say tranny anymore. If anything, now when I refer to trans people, whether it's a trans woman or trans, I always say the correct term. I will say transgender woman, or now I'll shorten it trans woman, trans man, because I've met enough trans people in my life that it's like, wow, for me to go around knowing you and knowing your story and what you went through, and then for me to turn around and say, hey, oh, that's a tranny. To me, that's a complete slap in the face.
And I think that's partially the reason because I would hear drag queens calling each other tranny
Right.
all the time, even though they weren't trans.
Correct.
And I did think that it was insulting at the time because I'm like, but they're women.
Yeah.
Why would you do? As far as I'm concerned, a woman is a woman. I'm a gay man.
Yeah.
If you're a woman, you're a woman.
Correct.
That's all there is to
Period.
it.
And I think in our culture, the gay culture, we're more understanding of it. We're more accepting of it compared to the real world out there. For example, in our Montrose neighborhood, we see each other, we know each other, we run into each other all the time. I see you for who you are. That's it.
Oh, sorry. But
Get it out, girl. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. But the fact of the matter, I disagree. I don't think gay men. I think gay men have had a little bit of an issue with the trans community, and I think it's the older gay men and my generation, maybe in the generation before that.
But let's be honest, the older queens have always had a problem with anything after them. I feel.
I think my generation. I think
they're harsher too.
We appreciate a little bit more because trans men and women were there during the AIDS fight and all this other stuff. So I think we appreciate them a little bit more. But I think the people before us didn't appreciate trans people as much.
Also in 2021, it's becoming more accepted. I think there's becoming a cultural shift for trans people.
Well,
especially with shows like Pose, that's changing the way people looked at.
Exactly.
And because Pose, if you've never seen that show, it's on Netflix. I think season 1 and 2 are on Netflix. I'm waiting for season 3 to come out. I need to check it up again because I haven't followed.
Well, if you have,
but that show is. I'm sorry to cut you off. That show is powerful.
Yeah,
that show taught me a lot of things that I did not know.
Me too.
Besides the stories that my friend had told me, my friends had told me, or their story. So when I watched that show and watched it from watching another person's life being portrayed, and I was just like, holy fuck, they go through a lot.
Well, I think really with Pose, it really changed my vernacular when it comes to gay history and this and that. Because now when I look at Stonewall, especially, when I look at Stonewall, when you talk about Sylvia Garcia and Marsha P. Johnson, we've always been taught that they were drag queens.
Yep.
It was later that we learned that they were trans women.
Correct.
And I have now changed the vernacular from drag queens to trans women.
And you know what, Joe? It's not till you start going into that history and actually taking the time to learn that history that you realize how good we have it now. When I went to World Pride in 2019 and I had a chance to go to the museums and look at the Stonewall areas that they had set up, and when you actually go to the actual Stonewall itself, as soon as you walk in, there's an article right at the door. The cops beating the gays because they were gay, or their riots and things of that nature. When I looked into the history of it and I saw, like, it gave me a sense of like, I am thankful, I am grateful that in 2000, for example, in that time it was 2019. So I'm like, I'm grateful that this time I can live my life as a gay man without too many consequences, without having to fear for anything, without having to worry, because there were people that were before us, like Marsha, that said, "Fuck it, I'm done. This is it. I ain't putting up with this shit no more," and fought for us, marched for us.
And I think that the LGBTQ community really, when things get tough, we'll put our differences aside and we will fight together.
Yeah,
we will literally drop everything.
Oh yeah.
And we'll go, okay, fuck all the infighting. Let's just get together and we'll figure all that shit out later.
Yeah.
And we will really get together when it comes to protecting our rights.
Of course.
We did it when it came to gay marriage and all this other stuff. So
you see that as soon as that came, it was forgotten in a way, because now it just became another norm.
Yeah, it's just become another norm.
Another norm.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was so controversial at the time when it happened.
And it was only 6 years ago, by the way.
Isn't that crazy?
That is
6 years before 6 years ago, like what did I say, 10 years ago, you would have said gay marriage, and in the gay community was nah.
I was told by many of my contemporaries we would never see gay marriage in our lifetime. It would be the kids in their 30s and 40s. By the time we were super old, who would see it? And to see it in 2015, biggest celebration of our lives. I celebrated like it was nothing. Like it was
yes, sir.
Like it was nothing in the world.
Yes,
and it was the most amazing time I had ever had. Downtown Houston, we got a hotel.
Yes,
we stayed downtown. We sure did.
Ooh.
We had a good time.
Ooh, clearly.
Some of us had a lot of a good time.
Smiling real hard when you tell me this.
I'm smiling really hard.
A hotel, and that smile got bigger. I was like,
me and my friend David got a hotel, and we invited some people, and we watched the parade from, from the comfort of our rooms while drinking martinis.
Okay. Poppers were running wild. Yes. Come on, hotel party. Come on,
hotel party. Yes.
Come on, hotel orgy.
Oh no. Now
we're not gonna tell that story. We're not.
No, now we're friends. I do not want to get involved with my friends ever again.
That is very awkward to do. That's one thing. Once I consider you a friend and you're friend zoned, I don't care how hard you try. No, baby, that you're my friend. You're a brother. You're a sister at this point. Whatever you are, I do not cross that line.
You know what? I try not to cross the line. I try not to cross the line.
I set up that barrier real quick.
But, you know, if things happen, they just happen.
Agreed. If it's organic and happens organically.
If it's organic and it just happens.
If I can tell that the feeling is mutual both ways, then I'll be open to it. But if the feeling is mutual one way.
Oh, no.
And at that point, I've already considered you just a friend. No, and you're trying to, like, come at me. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry,
that's a dangerous conversation right there. Because
people's feelings get hurt.
Because people's feelings can get hurt, and because people can... certain things could happen that are not supposed to happen.
That part.
When it's against your will kind of thing.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. So when you tell somebody no and they still trying anyway, and they still trying in ways where you might be asleep.
Oh, shit.
Or you might have been passed out drunk and
they're trying.
And they still keep trying.
That's called rape.
Yeah, that's pretty much called rape. So, so that's when it can get kind of dangerous.
Very. And I have zero tolerance.
I have zero tolerance.
My first episode, I told you the story that happened to me. Well, my first episode with you guys, that's when I told you that story. Like, I have zero tolerance for that, and that affected my trust level with people moving forward.
Yeah. So that gets into dangerous territory. So we don't want to. We don't want it to be one sided. If it's organic and it happened, and you're like, girl, I don't know how that happened, but it was nice.
Okay. And I get that as friends, you might slip up every once. You might slip up once. And if we can overcome and still be friends and not catch feelings and not get butthurt, that okay, we're cool. Let's just it happened. And
if we were friends, we probably overcame at least 3 times.
Several times.
Because we thought, it was. We looked at each other and went, it was just an accident. Let's see it again. Let's try it again to see if it was still an accident.
Okay. Because I've slipped up once or twice with a friend, like, we ended up doing whatever we did, and I'm the one who brings up the I'm like, let's talk about it. Are we cool? Are we moving forward? Are we good? You're not catching feelings? Because I hate to lose friends over that bullshit, and it's happened before.
I don't think I worry that much about catching feelings that much.
Some people do.
I don't think I really worry about it. I just think if it happened, it just happened, or
they they may not catch feelings, but then they think that you're now their new fuck buddy, and they try to initiate it again. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, come over. Hey, let's hang
that's
out.
when you have to have a conversation.
That's what I do, and I'm like, it's not that, sweetie, and so that's when they get heartbroken. And, that's fucked up, and I've liked you since I met you, and that's when the truth comes out. And I was like, got it.
But
okay,
I wanna put this to you too. You know, it sometimes it's not the other person. Sometimes it's you. You better remember that.
Agreed.
Sometimes it's you. Sometimes you think, oh, well, that was good, and
Okay.
might want to do it again. And the other person's like, we did it.
I'm moving on. And
But I don't want to. But we should stay friends.
they put you down gently.
They put you down gently, and then you're like, aw.
Or you can go out like that one dog. What's his name? What's his name? Oh, I lost his name. I just had that. Fuck, what's the name of that movie where they shot the dog and he was
Old
like
Yeller?
Yeah, one.
You went that. You girl. You
I went back that
girl,
far.
you went far back.
Mamas. And I'm only 35.
I
boo.
know. Good Lord, girl. The dog was 35 when he died.
Ah, damn. He was 1,000 in dog years.
Good Lord. So yeah. I mean that could happen. You don't know it. It goes both ways. But when you see it from both sides,
Yes.
when you see it from both sides, you just have to. And it gets tricky.
By the way, quick question, side question. I'm noticing you're wearing the shirt, the merch. Are you selling this merch?
No, because I don't have enough of the merch left. But if I decided to sell the merch, I'm still on the fence about it.
You know, you can do. I can explain to you the business side of something that you can do that might be beneficial. You might should look into. And I kind of looked into it myself for some ideas that I have. And I was like, well, okay, but basically, so whenever you guys see the podcast and you see the artwork for it, I made that for the show. I made that for him. I was like, you know what? I want your show to change, to have a look, a certain feel, and then you turned around and made a poster out of it, which nobody's ever made any of my designs into a poster because I never did it for that intention. I always just did it for fun or for the bar or something where it got posted and we forgot about it like a week later. And then you made a poster in which I loved, and I took a picture with that poster. And then like the next show, the last show, you made shirts, which totally got me by surprise, and I loved. And I'm like, now I'm looking, I'm like, when are you selling this merch? Sell this merch. Like,
I have been asked on Instagram, are you gonna start selling that? Because that would be
do it.
pretty cool. But I'm like, the expense it goes into it and all this other stuff.
And that's what I'm gonna explain to you off air.
Okay, we're gonna talk about it off
business
air.
side, yes.
We'll talk about it off air. Can we not do it today though? Because I have a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah,
but,
that's fine.
But we'll sit down and have a conversation about it.
Yeah,
because I'm actually thinking about
I'll
maybe
just
doing
give you
some small
keywords
merch
to look up, and you'll go from there.
Okay. Yeah, because we can. I was thinking about it for a little bit, maybe doing some cups and that kind of thing.
Yep.
And let me tell y'all something. I think the funniest thing, Julio, you finally taking credit for your work.
Ew.
Lately, it's been like, oh, well, all I did was make a little design, and I just did.
Humbly, very humble.
I just sent it over, and you guys didn't have to use it. That's so cute.
Yeah, because I'm used to like.
And then he saw it in a poster, and he almost cried.
I did.
This bitch
it
cried.
was excited. It was fucking exciting to see your art actually in a physical form, and that to me is the ultimate. Humbly to me, that's like the ultimate compliment, if you will.
Because we were like,
and then you elevated and put it into shirts. That was even a further bigger compliment.
Yeah, exactly. Because at first Scott and I were like, it's nice, but we didn't think about changing the logo.
Yeah.
And then we looked at it again because we were getting ready for the show, and I'm like,
you know what,
Scott? What do you think? Can we? And he's like, you know what, girl? It really is nice.
Thank you.
Let's do that. And so when we changed the logo, you were so excited, but you were still, you know what? It was just something I did.
You know where that comes from? That comes from like half the time. That comes from whenever I create stuff. We post it and people forget about it, so they don't talk about it. I don't get that receptive, the feedback. I usually get the cool, and then we move on. So when somebody actually took their time to compliment me about it and go, hey, this shit is cool. Wait, what? You actually like it? Like it threw me off for a little. I'm not gonna lie.
But like I said, when you first took a look at that poster, I saw a tear. I
have that picture,
and I'm like,
any creative?
Is he really?
Any creative? That's like if your podcast somehow your idol or whoever, a celebrity, said, "Hey, I happen to listen to this little gay talk show." You would be like, "Holy fuck, that made it all the way out there." and now they're validating it. They're putting it out there to the world. So that was a validation for me in a way. That was humbling because, like I said, I'm not used to my work being printed. I'm used to we use it for a promo. It does what it's supposed to do, and then we move on to the next. And we don't really sit there and discuss it and go over it, and we still use it. If anything, I'll create something that's next.
So yeah, so I was very thrilled that when
thank you for that. If anything,
yes, I was very thrilled when I was able to get it in T-shirt form.
That was badass,
and give it away for the last episode we did at the bar. And I'm like,
which I'm gonna make some T-shirts soon for the motorcycle club that I have, and I'm gonna give you a shirt too. By the way, just saying
that. Thank you.
Yeah. So I started a Montrose Motorcycle Club, and it's an all-inclusive LGBTQ plus. I have a Facebook group for it, and I just started an Instagram for it, which basically I want it to be a place where, like, you as a community member, a member of the LGBTQ plus community, if you're they exist. There's gay men, gay women, trans women, trans men that ride motorcycles, and everybody else under the umbrella that ride motorcycles, but there's no representation for them, or there's no safe place where they can go.
There have been in the past. There have been a lot of lesbian groups, a lot of lesbian motorcycle groups, not a lot of gay men and trans people involved, which I would love to see more involvement from both of those communities.
Correct. And that's what I want too. That's my the bigger picture is I want everyone to feel included, not just, hey, this is a gay man only club, or this is only a lesbian biker club, this is a only trans. No, like I want and the inspiration came from seeing the bicycle group that they do on Tuesdays, where it's everybody. Everybody, all walks of life, straight, gay, bisexual, trans, all that, and they all ride bicycles together for like 20 miles and come back.
Just to let everybody else out there know, in case you do not know, I think this happens once
every Tuesday.
Every first Tuesday of the month? Every
Tuesday.
Oh, it happens every Tuesday.
They're back now to every Tuesday.
Oh, are they back to every? Because they used to do it like every such and such of the month. I think.
So if you live in the Houston area and you want to find out how to get in touch and figure out when, the name of the group on Facebook is Pride Ride Bicycle. Let me look up the official name.
Okay.
It's Pride Ride. Because there's several of them, but this is the one they started out with like 3 people, and now it's to a point where when they ride, there's like 50 deep or more. Yeah, Pride Ride Houston is the name on Facebook. Get on there, add yourself as a member if you want. And then what basically they meet every day. They meet around 7:30 and they ride off at 8. Sometimes they alternate bars. Sometimes it's at Eagle, sometimes it's at Buddies, sometimes it's at Ripcord. So that's why you got to pay attention to their Facebook group. And they meet up and they just ride bikes. They do casual riding. They don't do crazy fast. They're not trying to compete for a medal. They get in there, you cruise, bring your Bluetooth speaker, bring some drinks, or bring whatever you want that makes you happy, and you just ride along with the group. And it's all inclusive.
Well,
all inclusive in the sense of the community, like LGBTQ plus.
There's actually an even larger ride that they do. I think once every Sunday, the last Sunday of the month, where it's thousands of riders. And because the neighborhood I lived in, I see them constantly. I see them all the time when they have their rides. And in one particular quick story. One particular time I was going to the little Hollywood store, right here, up here in Alabama.
What were you buying?
Oh, I was just, I think
browsing, window shopping.
No, I was just getting like some cupcakes
at Hollywood.
I was gonna play some video games, and I needed some snacks
because I had rented a room so I could read that in.
Because I'd also smoked a little something.
Bloop bloop.
And I think we can say weed now.
Yeah,
I smoked a little weed. It's 2021. I smoked a little weed.
Bitch, everybody smoked.
And I was playing some video games, and I'm like, I need snacks. So I walked up the street. And
so I'm going to go to Hollywood.
And there were thousands.
You're talking about Hollywood, the convenience store.
Yeah, the convenience store.
No, they had a sex store at one point.
They still have the sex store.
They do? Okay.
Yeah, it's right between you guys.
Oh, that's what he said.
Yeah, it's right. It's right between Hamburger Mary's and you guys.
Yeah, they do. They still have that.
And by the way, next time I'm over there, I need to stop in. I need
re-up.
I need to, I'm learning some new things.
Such as what, Joel? Inquiring minds.
Well, let me get back to the bicycle store real quick.
Went up
there to get some snacks. There was a long line outside the door. The little lady at the store said, "Can you help me? All these people are buying beer and stuff, and I can't check everybody's IDs, so I had to go all the way down the round line and make sure everybody had the proper ID.
Yep.
Because all she wanted to do was like check them out and go. So I had to check all their IDs and all. I had to make a couple of people return their beers. I'm like, what y'all trying to do in here? Come on now.
Bullshit.
Come on now. So I spent 3.5 hours.
I think the group that you're talking about is Critical Mass.
Yes.
Because they are large.
They are a large bike group.
To a point where like they have their own escort, like their own security that rides along with them.
Yes.
That stops people at the lights, like, and they go into thousands. It's in the thousands.
It's in the thousands.
Because I've seen, and their bike group was stretched for like a good chunk of time. Like you'll drive in traffic and you'll see bicycle. Like you'll count for a good 30 seconds before it ends.
Yeah. So I mean, good business if you wanted to. I mean, because they would stop at Alabama Ice House, they'd go across the street and grab cocktails at TK Bitterman's, that kind of thing. So yeah. So I literally had to go through hundreds of people and their IDs to make so she could get them in and out. Which amazingly enough, she got them in and out real quick.
Yeah, so I started. So back to the motorcycle conversation. I started that group because, I know that there have been other gay motorcycle groups in Montrose, but they've. My understanding is they've gone through their own turmoils, their own shift in leadership, and things of that nature. And I was like, you know what? I want to create my own. I want to create my own and just build it from the ground up. And I wanted to slowly invite people to come join the group, and because I want the Facebook group to become where people can go on there and post, hey, anybody gonna ride today? And like it's self-sustained where the people invite each other, and then to a point where if it's large enough, we can start creating meetups. Hey, let's meet up at this bar, or let's meet up this place, and then ride around to certain locations, so forth and so on. And then I started the Instagram under the same name, Montrose Motorcycle Club, because I wanted people to see themselves represented throughout the world. And so what I do is I find different profiles. Like I'll go and search certain hashtags and I find people and I'll ask permission. Hey, can I use this picture to post on my page? They say, and they usually, literally almost all the time, they say, yeah. Now I'm at a point where they're slowly, like I'm getting people submitting their own pictures. I'm getting people also sending me private messages. Hey, thank you for doing that. Thank you for showing visibility. There's nothing, and the thing is, there's nothing like it on social media, which is crazy. There are some motorcycle pages. There are some, but I've noticed that every time you go to a certain one, it's very specific who they cater to.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they have their own aesthetic that they like. So I've been to one, it's all leather men that ride bike. Well, not everybody's a leather man. I don't like to wear leather and sweat. I just don't.
It's too hot.
It's not for me. I'm not against it, but it's not for me.
Oh, no, I love the leather community, but I'm not wearing all that leather. Then you go to
another motorcycle page, and then it's only men. They exclude, we're all inclusive, but then they exclude the lesbians. They exclude the trans men, trans women, so forth and so on, bisexual, whatever. And so when I did my page, I was like, you know what? I'm starting this, and I'm going to include. And so far, I've been doing that. I've been including, but you know how hard it is to find certain profiles for certain like certain posts or certain hashtags. I'm actually trying to find more trans bike riders. If anybody's out there that's listening, and you are a person of color, for one, and or a trans person as well, please send me a message. I want to post and show you off riding your motorcycle. Like we need more of that representation, so other either new trans babies that are coming out into the world are going, where am I? Where do I fit into this?
Yeah, exactly.
Who are into the motorcycle sport hobby. To me, it's a hobby, and I love it.
And I think, honestly, to gain acceptance in the trans community, the trans community needs to be seen as a community with different interests.
Yes.
That do different things, that they're not exclusive
and that applies to every community.
Yeah, and yes, but I think importantly,
but I want to see more.
But I want to see more trans people doing the things that they love to do in communities that are accepting of them, so that they get more exposure. So there's
visual representation.
There's visual representation, because I think that's
I'm
so
trans,
important.
And I can ride a motorcycle. I thought I couldn't because yes, you can. Oh, I'm trans and I can ride a scooter, for example. Yes, you can. Like they're out. You are out there as trans people. Just please, where are you? So I can repost.
I want to see. On my side, I want to see more trans people. On the nerd side, I want more trans people who are into comic books, into anime, into video games and all the things.
We want to see them come to the light.
We want to see them come more and to join more groups and to come to the light.
Not saying that they're not coming to the light. They are, but we want to see more of it. And we want to see more diversity within the trans community.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So diversity on top of diversity on top of diversity. Period. So
equals equality.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, so we're I think honestly we're working to get there. I'm actually lining up some guests. One of the guests I'm lining up, I'm still doing the work. He has a lot of information on him, so is working with the trans community and looking for models, especially models of color, for a show he's doing in August.
Yeah,
but we're going to get into that in another episode.
Yep.
But I've just been doing some preliminary work and everything else, so seeing more and more, and that's what I said. I'm trying to get more. Especially more Facebook groups on the show, so that they can really talk about the things that they're interested in and everything else.
Their show, their movement, why they started their movement.
Exactly, so that they can get more people to take an interest and go, hey, I might want to go join that group.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you're talking about the motorcycle club thing. I wish I had a motorcycle.
Dude, I love it. Mm-hmm. To me, it's...
Wait, when did you get do you have a motorcycle?
I do, actually. Mm-hmm. I have a 2009... Harley Davidson 1200 Nightster.
Okay, all right.
It's a cute. It's in layman's term, it's a cute sporty bike. Mm-hmm. It's not a crotch rocket. It's more of a cruiser.
Okay, I'm gonna have to. And I'm gonna have to take some pictures with you in like little shorty shorts.
I'll show you. Actually, I thought about doing that myself for thirst traps. Trust me.
Don't do it during the summer though. We're not doing that during the summer. That's too hot. But
I'm gonna show you a quick picture that I just took the other day. Mm-hmm. But that's my motorcycle right there. So I'm showing him a picture.
You know what? Send it to me so that way I can put it on the page so people will know about that you do have a motorcycle and you're serious about it. And this is your group and everything else. So please send me that picture so that I can put it on the page.
For sure. And it's an open invite to anybody. If you're listening to this podcast and say, hey, I have a motorcycle. I want to join. One way or another, there's the Instagram, motorcycle, Montrose Motorcycle Club. And then same for the Facebook page is Montrose. I think on the Facebook, I have it as Montrose LGBTQ plus Motorcycle Club.
Okay.
That way when people search for it, they see, and I've had some people that said, hey, I searched for it and you popped up and that's what got my attention. I'm like, that's why I put it there.
Yeah, exactly. Because I want to see more groups.
Yeah, man, they're out there. For me, it's the motorcycle, the motorcycle world, and the motorcycle people. I'm more of a hobbyist. I love riding. I love getting on my bike and being able to just ride it down to Galveston per se, and then ride back or take different routes that I normally wouldn't take. It's just the freedom, the fun of it, that kind of stuff.
And I think, like I said, we're now in the stages of more people are getting vaccinated.
Yes.
A lot of people are now on their second vaccination, so they're ready to get back out into the world and start. I think a lot of people are really ready to live now.
Okay.
And start doing the things that they love to do.
I can't wait till I see on profiles. Don't talk to me unless you got vaccinated on Tinders.
Well, I have my vaccination cord just in case somebody says, well, I don't know. You have to have that second.
I'll admit to you, I'm one of the people that's holding out till I have to, till I'm being told you have to do it. Because right now it's still an option technically. It's up to you. I've had the COVID. I have had COVID already. Back when it first started, it been March the first year, that first month that it rolled out. But I'm holding out for that vaccine unless I feel like I have to, unless it's a law or something of that nature.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, because of my high blood pressure and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I got the COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
You know what? I've never had a flu vaccine until last year. So I understand what you're talking about, because I think I've only had the flu 2 times in my entire life. And someone said, well, you're not at a certain age, so you had to get a flu shot. And I'm like, why? I've only had the flu twice. But I know that the flu can be bad at my age, so I wouldn't got a flu shot.
So are you going to be one of those like type gays that only dates other men who've been vaccinated, or what?
You know what? I'm going to come to that bridge.
Are you going to be that girl?
I'm going to cross that bridge when I come to it.
I would love to go on a date with you. Have you been vaccinated? No, because we can't talk.
Well, I don't know. I honestly do not know. Right now, I'm just trying to get some. Right now, I'm just trying to get some booty. Right now, I don't
vaccinated or not. Just
no. I'm gonna look. If I went and got vaccinated, I'm gonna need you to at least have at least one. I feel much more. Minimum of one.
Minimum.
Because I know that eventually you'll get the second, and eventually you will.
2 weeks later, I know
you already got. Didn't you just get one at least? You got one.
I've got 0.
You got 0.
I actually made the appointment. I did make the appointment, and I legit, honestly, 100% forgot about the appointment.
It said legacy. How can you forget about it? It's free.
I signed up to do mine like at one of one of my regulars is a nurse who sent me the links that I signed up and scheduled it and so forth and so on. And then I had just landed from Fort Lauderdale that Friday and the appointment was on Saturday. So then I wake up on Saturday and I started my day and I had the reminder on my phone and it sent me the reminder and I'm doing it. And then I went to the gym and after the gym I went and did something else and then I went and did something else after that. By the time I got home and then looked at my watch, like, fuck, I had that appointment at 2:00 and it's 4. Oops.
Well, I'm going to give you something to think about. Can I give you something to think about?
Spill that wisdom tea, bitch.
Let me give you something to think about.
Do you want another flavor?
Yes. Yes, thank you. Spicy pineapple. Let's try. Let's see what spicy.
Don't say the brand till you sponsor me.
I'm not. Check. Yeah, I'm not. No, I'm just saying the name of the. Now, let me tell you something. If y'all been hearing, we have been burping a little bit because we're drinking seltzers.
Okay.
I mean, it is what it is.
It comes with the
and everybody has a seltzer now. Yes. Literally everybody has a seltzer. So I think I've tried so many different seltzers now. It's ridiculous.
And there's some out there that are legit. They're good.
There's some out there that are really good, and then there's some out there that are like, it's seltzer. I don't see what the big deal is.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. It really isn't. It took me a second to get used to it, and finally when I got around that, I was on it.
So let me get back to So I'm going to drop just a little bit of thought here.
Yeah, go for it.
When it comes to...
Lay it on me, daddy.
Okay, so I may understand why you have not rushed out to get a vaccination.
Shit. Tell me why you think I haven't.
But think about it like this.
Okay.
All right.
No, wait. First tell me the why you think I didn't. And then tell me why.
Maybe you might be a little hesitant. Maybe you might not trust the vaccine a little bit.
Correct.
I get that. I get that. So let me...
There's a world domination.
Yeah, the microchip.
My signal will get better. My Wi-Fi will improve.
Yeah, exactly. So let me just toss a little thought out here
to
you.
At times.
Yeah, it's a hoax. Let me toss a little knowledge. Now, we are now at the stage where it took them, let's say...
A year. And some change
to come out with this vaccine, which they have been working furiously on since the pandemic happened.
Allegedly.
The thing is that you had two choices when it came to this. We could still be in a huge lockdown situation where it could be, and at the time when they said it, when they first talked about it, it went from maybe a year to maybe 2 to 3 years.
Ooh, bye.
When they first talked about it,
the world would crash and burn.
Yeah, exactly. Secondly, when it comes to virus research, when it comes to the reason why that they were able to come with a COVID, first of all, is more closely related to the common cold than any other virus. So it's a lot more.
Isn't it cute that we can cure COVID, but we can't cure the common cold?
Yes, exactly.
And yet they're related.
However, the same thing can be said about the flu. Yeah. Because the flu mutates and changes all the time.
Another one of those man-made
and then we
viruses.
Then every year we have to get a flu shot to protect ourselves.
That some fucking lunatic that was in power said, make me this so I can destroy that.
So the thing is that with virus, and I'm all about science.
Yeah.
With this virus, and I think the reason why they found the vaccine so quickly is because of the 25 years of research they did when it came to the HIV virus. I think they learned so much about viruses from the HIV virus, that the technology got better.
Yeah.
Billions of dollars raised by this community to find a cure for or a treatment plan for this virus was done in a short period of time.
Okay.
We were able to get long-term treatment in now it was by the early 2000s we had long-term treatments because this community put billions.
The cure is out there.
Yeah, the cure is out there.
That's just being suppressed.
The cure is out there.
Because pharmaceuticals, companies, and things of that nature, they make more money off of you going to the doctor and him giving you some bullshit chemical saying this will cure whatever you have. And I'm not talking about specifically HIV. I'm talking about just diseases in general, sickness in general. These big pharma want to control everything. They have the cure for cancer. They have the cure for the common cold. They have the cure. And yet there's so much political interest, and these companies push for these laws. You know, I could go on, like, and I'm a believer in that stuff. It's crazy, and it sucks because as much as we should be moving humanity forward, you have these greedy fucking bastards that want to hold humanity back for their own interest, for their own selfish fucking interest. All these cures, all these technologies that exist, but they're being suppressed.
But whose fault is it that we're at this place?
In which sense?
In the sense of we can't trust our politicians. We can't trust pharmaceuticals. We can't trust. I mean, whose fault is it that we're at this place?
I don't know.
When we've been given the information for God knows how long, we've been told that this information is out there.
Yep.
And yet, what do we continue to do as citizens, as voters, as participants in this country? What do we continue to do?
The same thing, because they're programming us to not stand up for ourselves. Anytime we try to stand up, they'll find some kind of way to push us right back down. They have society in a very null state of mind, where they distract you with a lot of things around you.
Yes,
like COVID is a distraction. Even one of the Rothschilds was caught on video in an interview saying, "Oh, yeah, that's a distraction," and he caught himself saying, "I mean, it is a pandemic and then a worldwide situation." And like, no, bitch, you just said it. So
maybe COVID was a distraction enough to get people off the streets long enough so that the environment could recover a bit
for a year, Joel.
Okay,
out of the thousands we have.
Okay,
left.
Just let me. Okay,
I'm listening. I'm not. I'm just saying, like, we took 1 year off. To give nature a chance.
To give nature a chance.
It takes,
which means that if it only took a year to give nature a chance to recover, then that means that we can actually help nature recover if we try to do the right things that we need.
We can do it, and we can succeed.
We can succeed at this. I do not. And
we as humans are the problem.
We are the problem. And until we start to see ourselves as the problem.
And we start fixing our problem. But as we try to fix our problems, then you have people with a bigger interest, monetary interest, who said, ooh, that's the cure. What if we fuck shit up for a little bit longer so we can make more money off of it? And then when we make just enough money, we'll release the cure. We'll release the technology that will fix the problem. But for now, let's monetize off of it. That applies to the oil business. That applies to pharmaceutical business. That applies to there are several military complex. They create war as profit.
Oh, that's pretty much well known.
That's well known. Pharmaceuticals is profit. The cures are out there. They suppress it. Anytime they come out with technologies to improve cars, they kill the people who came out with it. They won't even. And you know how these people get killed is because as soon as they register a patent, as soon as their project is out in the public, these people come in and swoop in and go, shut that shit down. Don't do that.
Well, you know, the idea of the electric car has been around since the 70s.
They've had technology to run cars off of water.
Yeah, they've had that technology for 35 years.
Water.
But it was seen as not viable.
Cars can run off of water for thousands of miles.
But who would have put out of business?
The oil people.
Yes, exactly.
The car industry would have not had that. Because then so there's these powers that be that suppress and hold back us from growing as humans and as a society to get us to a further, better place where we should be. And instead, to take the focus off of them, they put distractions onto us.
And as far as I'm concerned, as long as you know that COVID, do you think COVID is real?
I hope I don't sound like a crazy motherfucker right now. Too late? Okay.
Too late. But
past that point. We're past that point.
No, you're fine. But do you think COVID is real?
I do not. I don't. I think it had a lot to do with propaganda. It had a lot to do with.
I thought you said you had COVID back in March, though.
I had the symptoms. The COVID, the virus itself. That virus is real. The way they're pushing the information about the virus and making it sound.
So yes, you do think that the
COVID is real, but it was as real as the flu. And I understand that Other people got it worse. Don't get me wrong. I understand the severity of COVID virus itself, and I understand the repercussions it's had on certain families, on certain people, people that have lost loved ones. I get that. I understand that.
And as one from a community that is still very hesitant about taking, and this community is very hesitant because of the fact that the government has experimented on black men before in
HIV,
the past.
Hence AIDS.
Yes.
AIDS was a government experiment.
Yeah.
It's a government that was a government created disease.
So
and if you think I sound crazy and he's like, who the fuck is this kid and saying this random ass shit, please take your time to Google. Please take your time to search. Look through the internet. Look up documentaries. And then you will understand why I'm spilling out this, what may sound like nonsense or craziness. That's why I'm trying to keep composure right now. It's like, I'm not trying to sound like, no, you need to listen to me. And I'm not that guy. Like, if you want to prove me wrong, go for it.
I'm always about listening to another person's perspective. And I'm not going to sit here and belittle your perspective.
Thank you.
I'm not going to sit here and
that's how we have
shout in your face.
That's how we have good conversations
about it. I
will
will disagree with some of the things that you're saying.
Thank you.
But I also agree with some of the things that you're saying at the same time, because some of these things are public knowledge.
Correct.
We all know about this. And my biggest thing is the fact that I am of the belief that we got ourselves into this situation, and until we start to really look at who we put in government, who we have as our
got ourselves into what situation? COVID?
No, I'm not talking about COVID. I'm talking about everything else. COVID is just one of the symptoms of COVID is just a symptom of the biggest problem that we have in this country.
Correct.
It's the fact that we are the laziest country on the planet when it comes to the idea of not changing. We refuse to change.
Here's another one. The school system. Things that they teach in school.
You know what I've learned? Everything that I've learned in school has been a complete and utter lie.
It is. That's exactly
everything
what it is.
that I've learned, I had to learn on TikTok.
Yeah, honestly.
And
through TikTok.
And then I had to go after going to TikTok. Then I had to look at the resources. By the way, I don't just let me say this. I don't just use the internet.
We fact check.
I don't use the internet. I read books and I.
What's a book?
Oh, you need to. Look that up on Google it. I don't
How
have
do you
time.
Spell book.
Google it. I don't have time to explain that to
you. Search it. The information is out there.
Yeah, exactly. But just and remember, I'm a bartender. I'm not a scientist.
Correct.
I'm not a politician. I'm not an expert
but that doesn't mean
in any
any
field.
Less smarter than the next person.
It doesn't mean that I'm not smarter
right.
than less smarter than the next person.
Correct.
But I try to find out information as much as I possibly can.
Like what I've looked into, like for example, the school system. The school system is completely rigged, completely set up to not even let you succeed.
Black people have been telling y'all that for 30 years. Y'all don't listen.
And that's on
Nobody listens. Black people have been saying the school system has been rigged for God knows how long, and nobody listens.
They're teaching us things that don't even apply towards the future now, which is why I respect that. For example, Elon Musk created his own school for his children. I mean, don't get me wrong; he has the means to do it.
Yeah, he has the means.
Hired the best of the best, but the way he teaches the way he teaches his curriculums and things like that is he puts kids together, old and young, in the same room because each one of them has their strength.
By the way, that's what they used to do in the olden days. One tiny little schoolhouse,
and you would teach each other.
Yeah, exactly. And the little kindergartners all the way up to the 12th graders would be in the same room, and they teach each other.
So school started to make us more.
School is a bureaucracy.
Yes.
First of all, and I'm not going to get too because I think we're going to go overboard here. Oh, not overboard. We're going to go over long. We have other stuff to do.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is that I'm going to make this quite quick. Yep. The fact of school is a bureaucracy.
Yes.
It stopped being a school when we started now hiring superintendents, when we started hiring people to work under those superintendents. When we have so many of this all the way, and I'm sorry, I'm doing the hand gesture.
They're pushing old shit.
They're pushing old agendas.
They're pushing shit that realistically doesn't even work in the real world.
Yeah, old agendas, old propaganda, that's what school is for. And honestly, I can understand why people want to send their kids to private schools. I can understand why people want.
And not every kid is going to like every topic. There's some kids that are more science driven. There's some kids that are more math driven. There's some kids that are more sports driven. There's some kids that are more art driven.
I would love to go back to the days when, look, let me tell you something right now. We still need mechanics. We still need plumbers. We still need people to do the trash. We still need. And as long as you pay these people a decent amount of wage where they can earn a decent living, have a nice place to live, able to pay their bills, that's fine. Not everybody has to go to college. I don't understand why we got to this point where, and by the way, everybody who has gone to college, I can literally ask everybody who's gone to college and how much student debt do you have, and everybody would raise their hand.
That's another infrastructure that's set up to make you fail. The fact that some people graduated college 20, 30 years ago and they're still paying their loans.
I still have $15,000 in student loans. I'm 50 years old.
Like, come on, man.
15,000.
So then every year, even college gets expensive. Every single fucking year, it goes higher and higher. Got to a point where, like, do you even want to be college educated? Can you, unless your family has the means to send you to college? If you don't come from a well-off family, you're gonna struggle. It's gonna be student loans and this and that, but those systems are set up to keep you locked in and at times fail.
Yeah, exactly.
Lord forbid you don't pay off for college, bitch. They will hunt you down.
Good Lord.
Sally Mae does not play, bitch. That hoe will come for you, your children, your children's children, your grandchildren's grandchildren. And it's like you signed your life away damn near.
Well, Julio, we need to have another episode where we talk about all this stuff.
Oh, I love conspiracy. Bitch, let me know when you want to do a conspiracy theory show. I'm down for it. I live. Let me know what topics you want to touch. I will go in.
Because we were only able to talk just a little bit, maybe 15, 20 minutes of it. But like I said, I am fully vaccinated and I have no problem with it. And it's not that I have a trust in government or pharmaceuticals or anything else on the matter. I just want to be well. And if taking a vaccine, I've taken vaccines my entire life and no vaccine has ever affected me that much.
Gotcha.
And and most vaccines have, I don't have polio. I don't have rubella. I don't have all of the stuff that that I had to worry about as a kid.
Yeah.
And I don't have, and I've taken the hepatitis B vaccine. I've taken a flu vaccine. I had to literally take a vaccine for, shingles.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't want to.
See, and I come from a different generation where I didn't grow up having to take any vaccines except the ones that I got as a baby. And then after that, it was just. So,
none of the vaccines have affected me. If you want to know everything that's going on in my life or what have you.
And just to clarify.
You can just do that on the internet. You don't need to
real quick
spend the money on the vaccine for that.
The way I look at conspiracy theories is a lot of times I entertain the thought, the knowing that there's an alternative reality to something.
There is, and in every legend and every story and every conspiracy, even in every conspiracy theory, there is a small grain of truth.
Correct.
In it, and I think with conspiracy theories they get so wild and out of control.
And it's not until I have actual evidence that I don't believe the majority of them themselves. I will entertain it. I'll talk about it. Some do seep in and like, okay, that makes sense, and I can see why that is it. But I've been convinced by a few, but honestly, for the most part, when you really start to think about it, it's like, don't you think they put a lot of effort into it, and from experts who were really not experts in the field that they said they were experts in? And okay,
I don't want to. No, so I mean, I love watching my UFO conspiracy documentaries every now and then because they're so hilarious.
That drives me fucking nuts.
They're hilarious, but I have not seen yet one expert who is an expert in the fields that they are supposed to be experts in.
Thank you. And if they are experts, they can't really say much.
Yeah, exactly.
Except, they allegedly, and it's an old shape, and it's, that's it. That's all I can tell you.
Which, I mean, in the universe that we live in, it's not wild to not think that there's not others beings in the universe. That's the wildest.
They'll be the most.
Human beings are so narcissistic in the idea that they are the only thing in the universe, and that is not true.
Think about it. Know your place in the universe. Think about it.
That is completely not true.
You're just a dot in the big. You're like a grain of sand in a beach. Essentially, is what I'm trying to say.
And honestly, I feel bad for the UFOs because it's like, why are you gonna come here?
That community in itself is so frustrating because they.
No, I'm not talking about
they talk about the same shit. They just know how to bring it up differently.
No, I'm not talking about the community. I'm talking about the aliens who put all their effort into technology to come visit us, and then just to be completely disappointed when they get here. Good Lord, these people can't get their shit together.
Humans ain't shit, bro. Let's go back to Saturn.
I'm on the Star Trek mindset of. They will not waste their time here unless we develop technology to come visit them.
The Prime Directive.
Yeah. So
I'm a huge Star Trek fan.
Yeah, so they're not gonna. As far as I think, as far as
they
alien
won't
species,
intervene till we get our shit together.
Yeah.
And by what I mean, get our shit together, is as a humanity, we have to get to a point where we eliminate hunger, we eliminate money system, we eliminate politics. We have to elevate. We have to have more compassion, love, where we end killings, where we end violence, things of that nature. When we get to a certain point where they feel like we can come in, we can intervene now. We can. They got their shit together. That's when they'll get.
All right.
If they exist, mind you.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they do.
All right. Well, this was fun.
Yeah.
And by the way, I really do think that they exist. Sci-fi.
I do too.
Sci-fi
I do too,
exists because there's the idea that they do. Yeah, we're not the only ones.
We're not the only ones, people. Come on now.
So, this was fun, Julio.
Thank you. I had a whole list of. That's why I kept checking my phone. I have topics and things.
Oh, good Lord. But we don't have 5 hours for all of that. That's a 5-part episode.
Okay.
That I had to do a lot of editing for and everything else. I don't have time for that. Plus, you have other stuff to do, and I have stuff to do too.
Yes. After this, I'm going on a bike ride with a group. So
he's going on the bike ride with a group.
Yeah, that's why we're drinking seltzers today. Because if not, I would have brought the hard liquor and just watch you.
No, because then we'd have to have that conversation the next day. We're just friends. It happened.
Okay.
It happened. You were, Joel, don't get me wrong. You were good at what you did, but we just have to stay friends.
And then cut you off and ghost you and never talk to you again.
No. No, I don't allow that.
I will find you.
I know where you work.
I know where you work.
I know where you work.
Your friends are.
And then I look at you and tell you, look, I don't care what happened in that room, but I still need your help with other stuff. So I don't give a shit about all of that. That happened.
And I still love creating things and sending it to you guys. Like even if you like because my mentality is I'm gonna create it, I'm gonna do my best creating it, and I'm gonna send it to you guys. And my mentality is if you use it, cool, thank you. And if you don't, you don't. Because I'm so used to that go promotion from the bars that is like in and out, in and out, in and out. But yeah, I'm gonna keep. And the last flyer we made, actually, I love that last flyer made for y'all. That was cute as fuck.
That is cute as fuck.
I loved it,
and I love the fact that it's multi-purpose, so I can use it.
Yes,
use it whatever, and I don't have to worry about you going. Hey, you got the date wrong?
Okay, honestly, yeah, we got it more universal.
Or you did this
now.
wrong?
Yeah.
So and you can
just post it and go. Here are the details.
Yeah, exactly. So all the details are done. So thank you, Julio, for being on the show, and
thank you, by the way, for always having me. Thank you for supporting me, supporting my art, things of that nature, and the things that I've created for you guys. So thank you.
You support us, so we support you.
Because I want to see you guys grow. I want to see this, and you are growing. I want to see your success. Like I like that. There's something about me when I see
but
somebody who has a.
Don't forget to take a ride on that train too. You don't just because I did it. Let me tell you something. I've done it before for other people. Yeah, and they just left me behind, and I never saw them again. Yeah. Don't do that. Yeah. You are on this ride just as much as we are. Thank you. I want to just as much do for you as you have done for me. I've learned that lesson.
Like me too.
From a long time ago that I would never do that to another person. Yes, sir. And if I'm doing something that can help other people.
Can somebody please save this episode? Because this bitch is going to delete it when I bring it up again. When she rich and hanging out with Rupaul talking about why in the...
No, I'm.
Hey Joel,
you're gonna be right there.
What's your name again?
You're gonna be.
It's me, Julio.
You're gonna be right there. You're gonna be right there, sitting with me, right there.
I want to put it out in the universe that I want RuPaul to go on your drag show at Buddy's.
Oh, that would be,
or just on your show in general. And if it'd be cuter if you did it at the bar.
It would be really cute if she just walked into the bar.
Now, we are putting it in the universe.
Yeah, we're gonna put it in the universe. Hear me, she's just gonna walk into the bar because she's been recruited.
You have to do it. However, you have to pull your strings. Put RuPaul on his show.
I just need 5 minutes. That's it.
At least 10. But yes, minimum 5.
Yes, a minimum 5, but I'll take 10.
Bitch.
I'll take 10.
I would love to see that. I would love to be part of that episode.
Oh, good Lord.
Even if I'm in the room, I don't have to be in the table.
You know what? I'll take Michelle Visage. I'll take Carson Kressley. I'll take either one of them. I'll take any one of them, girl. I forgot about the other one who I love so much, and I'm sorry I forgot about you, but still. Yes. I will take any one of these girls from any one of the judges. Yep. Nobody from Canada come down though. Y'all, no. Ooh. No, I'm sorry, but anyhow,
What's wrong with Canadians?
there's nothing wrong with Canadians. It's just their judges are not that great.
Oh, they have
But
a
that's-
Canada version of the show.
They have-
Canadian version of the show.
You don't watch the show, so let me tell you,
Clearly,
they have
I know.
19 different versions
I know
of this
there's
show.
a UK. That's as far as I know.
The Australia
US,
version is about to come out.
There's an Australia version. What?
Girl, let me tell you something. The UK version was amazing.
I've heard this. I want to see that so
because
bad.
it was now. By the time we reach season 13, all these drag queens now have professionals who do all their shit beforehand. So they're not doing sewing. They're not doing. They're, when they have one sewing challenge. I think they have one sewing challenge the entire season, and half of these.
That's a
women
minimum required. Most drag queens, actually, the majority of them know how to sew their own.
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. I don't understand. I still don't understand how you get this.
Because it's so expensive to do drag that most of them rely on themselves to
Yeah,
create.
exactly. Drag is not.
It's not cheap. Baby.
It is not cheap.
It is not. If you want to do it, you better go in wholeheartedly and ready for the truth.
But as long as you have the style and the sewing machine, you can literally. And trust me, I have a drag queen who is my co-host on this show.
Yes, you do.
And I've seen her turn out some amazing shit.
Yes.
With girl
If you
on the
have- As long
dime.
as you have creativity and imagination, you can make anything. And if you are thinking about being a drag queen, start learn how to sew.
Learn how to sew.
101.
Learn how to sew.
That will save you time, money, effort. Yes, you can buy outfits. That's not a problem. You can still do that. But if you know how to sew your own shit, bitch.
And by the way,
game
sewing
over.
also comes in handy too. Even if you are buying from someone who is making your stitch, you know exactly what the material is. You know everything about every stitch that comes into it. You have knowledge.
And not only that, not only do you create for yourself, you create for others.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
another form of income.
Yeah, exactly. So you have not only do you have the knowledge behind it. Like I said, I don't have a problem with you. I don't have a problem with queens having their shit made for them.
I know some
But
people that make a good living just making outfits
Yeah,
for
exactly.
entertainers.
But know how they made it, because if you know how they made it, you're trust me,
Baby.
you'll be way ahead of the game.
Baby.
You'll be way ahead of the game. You ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because we went way over.
We can talk hours clearly.
We can clearly say you know what, we're gonna just have some cocktails one night and just talk about shit. We don't have to do it on the air, but we can talk about shit, because
do it.
I have a lot of stuff.
And I love bouncing ideas off of anything to help push it forward. So
I know.
thank you guys. Love you guys. Thank you for having me again. Thank you.
Okay, let me we're done.
Good night, y'all.
Good night. Let me make sure I push the right button though before
How does Jim Carrey say? Have a good day. Have a good night. And if I don't see you, I forgot how he says.
I don't
It's
remember.
off the Truman Show.
Oh, I think I watched it once and went, okay.
Y'all be blessed. Take care,
Y'all
guys.
be blessed.
This show is sponsored by Tubi's Woodworking. Tubi gives you wood. Also brought to you by Bitch Boy Undies. Get you a pair or else. You can follow the show on most social media at That Lil Gay Talk Show. Check out the website, thatlilgaytalks.com. Music and vocals by Jamie D of Diamond Cut Entertainment.